You're listening to Ignite Your Success, a podcast that inspires fitness professionals to build a strong business that enables them to serve more people and engineer the lifestyle they desire. It's Brad Shepard here, and together with Jason Ubanowicz, we're best known for running Trainer HQ, a community of passionate and profit-hungry fitness business owners that make a massive difference in others' lives every day. Each episode will unpack for you exactly what's working and deliver best practice strategies so you can confidently grow your business and make a huge impact. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Trainer HQ podcast. And I'm joined by my business partner, Mr. Jason Ubanowicz. Welcome, sir.
It's been a couple of weeks, thank you.
Been a while, hasn't it, mate?
It's been a little while.
You pumped up? You ready to roll?
Definitely pumped up. Yeah, always pumped up to do these.
Yeah.
That's it.
Share some info. So today we're going to be talking about maximising your lead generation and I guess maximising opportunities, conversations via social media. So there's a bit to unpack and there's a bit to it. But I guess first things first.
What's the time now? All right, yeah, good.
First things first, I guess let's talk about why it's important to have some sort of presence and also some reasons where we see people can, I guess, maybe spend too much time / waste time in that space.
Yeah, well, I think we're in an era now where we hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I should be doing something on social media," and when I hear that, that just tells me they're not really sure what they should be doing. And because again, if you go like, "Oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that," it tells me they don't really have the true understanding about the purpose of it. It is critically important now, right, to be online. Doesn't matter if it's Google reviews, a Facebook group, social media, TikTok. There's a whole heap of different platforms. So no wonder people get a bit confused with it, especially if you're a solo operator and firstly you're just trying to run a successful business, and then you go, because remember when we started, no Facebook, no social media, you just had to focus on your old version of lead gen, sales. But now it's like, okay,
got all these different options.
Now they're telling me I got to have a website and I've got to have a social media presence. But without the right strategy and without really having a sense of direction and purpose with it, it just becomes another thing to do.
Yeah, 100%. And the other part to that is also the feeling of I've got to be on all these different platforms. So, we could list off, you rattled off, 5 or so just then. There could be, say, the top 10, right? And then someone goes, all right, that could be overwhelming,
Yeah,
so
I've done a little bit on YouTube, I've done a little bit on TikTok, I've done a little bit on Facebook, a little bit on Instagram, and our thing was always, again, if it's just you, then I would focus on one platform, and also know where does your clientele hang out. I spoke to people that mostly their clients are more corporate or professional people. Not to say they're not hanging out on Instagram, but maybe LinkedIn would be the better place.
Yeah.
You want to build your profile and following on there.
Yeah, so from a coaching perspective, I guess then we backtrack and then we'll go, all right, we'll start on, let's say, 1 or 2 and get that rolling, get some consistency, get some rhythm before you go and attack the third,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so if we looked at, say, Instagram, for an example, and the way I explain it to people is I would just treat any of these platforms, especially Instagram, like a search engine, like Google, and that's what it is. People can go there and search for a particular service or something they're interested in. Doesn't matter if it's strength training or whatever. And so if we understand that, then we go, well, why don't I look at it like it's a website? People are going to land on my particular profile. What are they going to see? What's the experience they're going to have? And normally that's where it all breaks down, because if you don't understand marketing, you don't understand who you're trying to talk to and your niche or niches, then it's just the content can be irrelevant. You go, what should I post today? I guess I'll put a recipe up there. But again, who are you trying to engage with? Because if you can't get that part right, people just switch off. And then it's a missed opportunity. So it really is about, I'd say, okay, if someone lands there, who are you hoping lands there firstly, and does the content or does what I'm saying, does the bio or description of who I help, is that going to grab someone's attention who may be an ideal client for me? And if, again, that's where it starts, right?
becomes the first thing they see, first thing they focus on, and it's your USP or your unique selling proposition, your opportunity to have. You've got a very small amount of time to capture someone's attention, and we call snap them out of that trance, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and so you got to get that part sorted first, and then your messaging wants to match up to that, of course.
Yeah. And so then there's a couple of things that I see. People spend a huge amount of time, as you were saying, making content with no real outcome. So that, again, there's no real strategic plan behind it. It's just, I like doing content. I'll do some training videos a day and all that stuff, and that's all they do. Or, hey, here's some eating tips. But again, that's not a strategy to engage somebody to potentially find out more. So if your purpose is just to put content out there and just have info and you don't care if you get a client or not, well, you're probably succeeding. However, if you're online or in person or a combination of both, and your aim is like, I actually want to showcase who I help and that I'm looking to help more people, and you don't have any of that on your Instagram page, you might as well be invisible. You might as well not have it. Because hoping someone goes, I'll just go and message Brad because I saw a recipe that he put up there and that looked amazing.
Yeah, I watched that video of him training or whatever.
So surely he can help me become pain-free when you're over 40 and become strong again.
Yep.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's right. And it's the part where we see it a lot, right? Because we get to see thousands of personal trainers. 200 plus people join the high-level coaching program every year. And before that, many people subscribe to our stuff. We get to see what they do and so forth. We get to have conversations, and we see a lot of that. And that's why we're making a point of it.
Correct.
Yeah. The other thing we hear, back to the time factor, is that, we've spoken to many people, and I can think of a distinct conversation, one of many that I've had, where this gentleman says, I'm taking, an hour and a half to 2 hours to put together a reel and, training scenes and this and that. And I go, okay, cool. What's the purpose behind it? Well, I just want to, hopefully, people are going to resonate with it and engage more. And is there a call to action or anything? And there wasn't. And I go, that's a shitload of time out of your day, out of your week, to do one reel that's going to get seen by a certain number of people. And of course, we know the algorithm changes and all that sort of stuff. So what was working 2 weeks ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, 1 year ago, it changes all the time.
It does.
Yeah. And it's not to say that it's a waste of time to put content out. What it is a waste of time is to go, what's the purpose behind it? And if I'm spending shitloads of time doing that, then it's taken me away from potentially other things.
Yeah. And again, if you don't know what else to be doing in your business, it could just be a good time filler, right? So, I've spent 5 hours this week doing content. The reality is that really the best use of your time at the moment? So it could be a better use going, well, I'm not good at sales, so I've just spent 5 hours doing content in the hope that that translates into something for me, where you go, the opportunities I do have, I'm not even converting them because I'm still pretty average at sales. I go, well, wouldn't it make sense to get better at selling first? Because if you did get an abundance of leads, all you're going to do is kill them. You're not going to do a good job of converting them anyway. So this is where it becomes way bigger than just, should I be on social media? What should I be putting out there? It's about, what does your business need? But back to the social media thing, that's why we taught that concept of, we call it the 3 pillars. It could be more, but it's like, okay, what do you want to be putting on your social media? Well, yeah, you want to have some content. You want to add some value. You also want to be showcasing, what do you do? How do you deliver a service? Are you online? Is it face-to-face? Is it both?
Yep.
Because if you don't put that out there, people don't know.
That's right.
Maybe fun, informative, again, but if I landed on someone's Instagram page and the last time they actually made a call to action or they spoke about how they help people and they're looking for people was right down the bottom, it was months ago, what's the point of that? People aren't going to scroll to find it. So that's the 3 pillars we talk about. That needs to be a common blend. So no matter when someone lands on your page at any given week, they can see there's maybe some case studies, testimonials. So in our industry, great thing to show other people that they've helped get results.
Yep.
And they're an expert in it. There's some fun and informative so people can get to like you or trust you or see you as an expert. And then show your personality, have a bit of fun stuff. And that could be the cadence for somebody. That could be the regular format that someone follows. And again, without that, it's just a lot of time putting together something with no outcome. So I speak to people and go, oh yeah, we've been on podcast and doing all this content. We've hired this, video guys come and done all this great stuff. I go, that's amazing. That looks really high quality. How many clients you got from it?
Zero.
Well, I can see that you have, because you've got no call to action. You've made nothing available for someone to reach out and contact you. So what were you hoping for? You got all this content. That's great. People are tuning in. If they are tuning in, but no one's reaching out, do you want clients? Yeah. Okay, well, the strategy's not right then.
Yeah, so true. And then I guess we flip to the other end of the continuum. We've seen people who just pepper their feed with promos and offers and discounts and all the rest of it. So it can flip it completely the other way as well. And you go, that'll just send a message to go, that's all I do,
Yeah, it's too much.
And you don't want to be known as that business. So so back to the content side of it. I mean, we see this and we've heard other people promote this going, you shouldn't be doing content. Content's a waste of time, all the rest of it. And then on the other flip side, we've seen people say you should be posting 5 times a day. So I guess to sort of round out our philosophy is to go, well, you need to have some consistency and depending upon the bigger picture business goals, where the business is going, do you need a platform? Does it resonate with your ideal client? It needs some cadence and some consistency. It needs a strategy behind it. And that could mean different things to different people, because once again, if you've got a full book of clients and you're just looking to improve the quality and attracting a certain number of people, well, then it's completely different to someone who's in a growth phase and going, what I'm looking for is more.
Yeah, that's right. And again, it's understanding what are you doing it for. If you're completely online, and I know several people are, then it is ideal to be regular, pump up your amount of posting and what you're doing. Still with a strategy, you got to have the strategy in place.
Yeah,
but that is going to be important to get in front of more people. That's just the way it is. But then on the other side of it is that I've had people go, well, I don't really like social media, and it's not something I really want to spend my time doing a lot of. I'm in the gym, or I've got a studio, or something like that. I know it's important, and my philosophy, I say to them, like, you don't need to be doing it all the time. Again, just what is important is if someone is searching for you, it's more important about what they see, hear, and read or whatever. That's going to be more important. Like, do you need to be posting 20 times a week? If that's not your go, it's not really what you want to do. No, because there's other ways that you can do it. You can run ads, you can run Facebook ads, Instagram ads. We've just brought out the training about how to do boosting certain content done right. It's not just randomly, done right with a strategy. And that's what we covered in the training, was how to look at what could you be boosting to get more followers, so then you can start to have a conversation with people. And as we know, it's how many conversations can you start to then build some kind of relationship, add some value, add trust, to then and only then make a recommendation to see if you can help them. And that's sell by chat, right? So then that's a skill set in itself. How do I say it? What do I do? What's the messaging? How can I automate that? And you could do that without having to do all this extra work and content if it's not really your thing. But you got to have it set up so if someone does land there, that the content is done right, or the look and feel of the profile is done right. So people would want to engage, in your services. So you're right. There's do you want to be an influencer and spend all your time doing it? Well, go for it. Yeah, do that. Spend all your time doing content. You still got to do it right.
Yep.
But if it's not your go, don't get in the trap of thinking, oh, well, everyone's telling me I should be doing content
that's
every
right.
day. You don't.
Yep.
You don't need to be doing that.
Biggest trap to fall into is I have to, or I should be. Therefore, if I'm not doing it, then what's it telling the subconscious? Hey, man, you're not keeping up. You're falling behind. And these same people will be jumping on, checking out someone else's feed, getting envy and jealousy, and geez, they're doing it much better than me. And if you're listening to this, you've ever had those sort of thoughts and feelings. It's like, well, those of you, probably the best thing to do is to only jump on that platform when you are doing your own stuff. There can also be some market research you could do, of course, which would make sense. But if you're there to scroll and you find yourself randomly doing that, then it can be a complete waste of time. That's for sure.
It's why if you're watching or listening to this now, what you'll pick up is that we don't say don't do this, do this. Like again, when you said this, people going, "Oh, content's always a time." Well, that's because they're selling they're selling their stuff, right? They're selling their coaching program or their whatever their model is. To say don't do content is a ridiculous statement, and also to say that you need to be posting 5 times a day and all that stuff is also a ridiculous statement.
That's right.
Because it really boils down to what's your strategy, what's your outcome, what you're trying to achieve, and then match up that particular purpose for your business. Because again, I know people who have less than 1,000 followers and they get regular inquiries from their Instagram every day. So that's the other part. Oh, I mean, it looks impressive, right? So you go to someone, they got 50,000 followers. But if you scroll through the first 20 or 30, you'll quickly see are they actually the followers that particular business is after? And a lot of times it won't be.
Yeah.
So again, people get triggered by, they got X amount of followers.
Yep.
You know, and the concept of, there was a book written many years ago about the power of 1,000. So, you know, even if you had 1,000 loyal followers, and this is back in the day where it was email subscription. Have you got 1,000 people? I'd rather have 1,000 loyal followers who love what you say, what you put out, than having 20,000 people in your database and like 100 of them are engaging. Oh, my database has got 20,000. Congratulations. How many of them are actually engaging with your stuff? And so you got to be careful not to fall into all these traps, but you got to have a clear strategy and purpose for your business.
Yeah, once again, back to those numbers, this is where the trap for people to fall into is going, I should have, I've got 2,000, I should have 5 or 8 or 10 or whatever the number, right? So once again, with those higher numbers, you know, you can look at it and you can see what level of engagement a reel gets, or how many plays, or how many, and you'll find the ratio massively drops. And like you said, you look at some of the followers and you go, they're not real true fans or followers, you know. So again, it can quickly expose that type of thing. And there's a number there, 10,000, whatever. Hey, it looks good.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy. So back to you mentioned the booster bookings strategy. Obviously, we make that available for our people. So those of you tuning into this, we'll put the link to get that directly, so you can tune into it, because it goes in more depth exactly what to do.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that, because what you mentioned was about the conversation, and this is really where the next part to it is to go, we've got the presence, but if you want to continually have more conversations and stay open to welcoming more people into your business on whatever level, then you want to start conversations, and that's what this process is all about.
Yep.
So let's unpack a bit about what the first step could be when we get the follower.
Well, the first thing, and again, like think about it this way. If you're looking at, I'd like to get at least 5 or 10 leads a week. Some people, that'd be huge. You know, maybe that's a month. And it doesn't matter if it's in the gym and you're talking to people and your aim is to go, I want to start conversations to build some relationship with people. I like to paint that picture, because it is about that. How many introductions can I have? Because I've done a good enough job of, I guess, putting something out there where people go, I'd be interested in that. But say someone does follow you for whatever reason, it blows my mind that this gets missed, but it can get missed, right? So you send out, hey, Brad, thanks for the follow. Simple as that for the first one. You're making a personal introduction. You've followed me, not the other way around. So I'm not just DMing you randomly.
Yeah.
And I just go, hey, thanks for the follow. 8 times out of 10, my experience, people go, yeah, no problem, all good. You know, good to be following you. Then this is what you're asking, then particularly what could you follow up with? Yeah. And it can be something along the lines of either just out of curiosity, what got you to follow me out of interest? Because they might go, oh, well, I saw that you deal with men over 40 who have got back pain and they want to put on muscle and increase testosterone naturally. That's of interest. That's what I started following you for. Then the conversation can organically go that way, right? Or you could go, hey, are you just here for my content, given that you've done a good job and it's very clear? Or are you looking to get some help with X, Y, Z? Either way, we're in a conversation, right? So if they go, actually, I've been looking to get some help in this area because you specialize in it, then again, you're starting that conversation. Great. It might be then, if they do say, yeah, look, I'm actually looking to get some help with this, then you can start to ask those questions. Okay, so how long has this been on your mind, or how long has this been an issue for you, or a concern or a problem? And again, we're into that finding out, we're clarifying.
Yep.
We're clarifying first what is it they're actually after. What do they want a solution for? And then if they go, well, yeah, it's been like years actually I've been putting up with this particular pain or whatever. And you go, so is this something you're interested in getting a solution for now? Or is it something that you're going to put off or delay along those lines? If they go, oh, no, I'd love to get a solution for it now. Then again, you may just go, well, over the next, say, 60 to 90 days, ideally, what would be an outcome for you that you'd really like? And if they respond, then honestly, and it's got to be with honesty, you go, yeah, that's achievable. That's doable. What you're actually saying is I can help you with that without saying it. And at some point, if you follow that type of questioning, and this is a very brief overview.
Yeah, we go into it more inside the booster bookings, right?
Yeah, what we've done is we're thanking them. We're building the introduction. We're starting to explore, are they just here for the content or are they actually looking to get some help in a specific area? We're clarifying how long that particular thing has been important for them or been a concern. Then we're finding out, is it a now thing or a later thing?
Yep.
If they go now, you go, right, okay, well, what would you like to see between the next, say, 30 to 90 days? What kind of outcomes? It could be lose weight, whatever it may be. Then you're going, well, that's achievable. But the psychology behind that is the questioning that you're asking them is you're starting to get an indication about where this person's at, or are they looking to do something now? And the more they start to express back to you, the more that you're starting to build that trust as an expert. And then at some point you're going, look, based on what you're saying, I could offer you an opportunity to have an introduction call so I could find out more about you. And that's that process of, earn the right to make a recommendation once you've done the questioning properly.
Yep.
Problem is most people don't know how to do the questioning properly. And I'm just giving some examples. Yeah. We've got many other ways to do it.
Yeah.
And depending on what their response is, it's then knowing how to respond to that. Because even if someone says, I'm just here for the content, again, most people don't know what to reply. They go, oh, okay, enjoy, Or me personally, I would be saying, is there anything specifically in terms of the content you're after? It's just so I could point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Again, we're still entering into the conversation.
Yeah. What I like about the first part, and as you unpack that, it's a step-by-step process. So it's not like we're trying to spew lots of information in one message. No. We're looking for one question, one response, one question, one response. And anyone who's been in this type of dialogue will know that when you got someone on the other end, the fact of the matter is they're responding and there's some interest there, right? So
correct.
There's that bit. Second part is, you're not trying to stick your hand down their pants too quickly, his or her pants.
Yeah.
Right? What you're doing is you're slowing the process down, and again, you use the word earning the right to be able to get to that next part, and that's critical, because once again, it's back to this thing, you want to get to build a connection with somebody, get them to know who you are, to learn a bit more about you. But at the same time, what they're doing is they're building up. They're letting down their defense. Yeah. They're opening up, which is fantastic. And the next part is that at that point in time, we can get to the point of asking them, "Are you open to X, Y, Z?"
Yeah, and like that hand down the pants thing is typically what someone may do. They'll go, "Oh, we can help you. This, we do this, we do this, we do that," and it's like you just kill it. It's way too soon. So again, clarify what they, what they're here for, what's going on for them. See, if there's some way you can help, and then if you can help, and then you want to explore that a little bit further, why that's important to them, and then once you do that, the part I like about saying that's achievable and that's realistic is that it's saying that you can help them without going, we can help you, because that's what all salespeople say. So then they can just go, flag, and you can just go, that's achievable.
Yeah,
or
that's right.
And that's the part I like. The other part we talk about is that regardless if they say just here for the content or they want help, as we know, and it's important, is that we want to get them off, if we can, off social media and onto your own database. So this is where, like, when people go, it's a waste of time doing content, is rubbish, because that's how you're going to start building the nurture. If someone isn't ready and they just don't want to engage in the conversation any further, and that's fine. Then if they go, look, the thing I'm mainly after is what's the best way to do strength training and put on muscle for if you're new to it. You go, actually, and if that's what you specialise in,
Sure.
strength training for beginners, you go, I've actually got a 3-part series on that I'd love to send to you. Where should I send that? Meaning, where's the best email address? What's the email address I can send that for? Or I'll send it here now, and then that they have to obviously go put their details in, and now they enter your database, and that's when there's the nurture, follow-up emails, all the rest of it. So you can build that relationship, and maybe over the next 2 weeks to a month, they're more receptive and open, having a convo with you. Or maybe 2 years later, who cares? Either way, you're building a database.
Yeah, that's right. And it's so important because right now, if you're, regardless of your number of followers, they sit on Instagram or any platform. Instagram owns that data. You do not own that data.
Yeah.
If Instagram shut down tomorrow, or unlikely, but what is more likely that we see happen, and someone's account gets blocked or hacked or whatever, then that data gets lost. And so your purpose here is to, as well as everything we're speaking about, is to go, how do I continually grow my database of names, emails, and phone numbers, which means that now my business owns that data.
Yep.
So that puts me in the driver's seat to be able to nurture more of those people.
And
we also know that the algorithms change, as mentioned before. So what was working before is going to work less. It's pay to play, right? So the more, if you want to get your stuff seen by people, that's where the boost of bookings comes in, right? So it's like, if you want to get this stuff seen by more people, if you've ever been sitting there and disillusioned, I did this video I thought was going to be great and it only got seen by X people, well, they want you to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
It's a business. There's shareholders. There's people that need to show a return on their investment, right?
Yeah.
So from that perspective, that's your goal to go, all right, let's get these people on the database, and then I can continually nurture that person. And who knows when they're going to sign up? Like, that's the thing. We've had it all the time. Several examples, many. Probably hundreds actually of people that have been sitting there for us on our database for years. We backtrack because we've got a great, really robust CRM in terms of MXP. It tracks everything, and we look back and we go, wow, that person joined the database back in when we were down in Sydney in 2010, you know.
Crazy.
And you look back at it and we look at their history and, wow, they'd signed up to an event, but then they cancelled and, whatever. But eventually the time was right for them to do something.
Yeah, it's so many parts to it. It's why when people go, I tried Facebook ads or I tried boosting videos and getting it, and I go look at their stuff. That's why first thing first is let's be very clear on the strategy and is that the right time to be boosting, because if you boost that, don't expect much, because it's not going to engage the right people. So again, all comes back to who's your audience, who's your niche markets, who you're trying to talk to.
Yeah.
If you're trying to just do random stuff and put it out to everybody, you'll get nobody. So all the stuff we're talking about, that's why there's a real strategy behind it. Unfortunately, people just get caught up in hearing, I should be boosting or doing that, and go, it's not about that. It's about the strategy you got right. Now, how do we know? Well, we've been doing it forever. Like when people come and work with us, and they come on board as clients, they finally twig and go, that stuff you're explaining and teaching, we went through that with you. I started following you. You started messaging. I go, did it feel like you're talking to a salesperson? Not at all. And I go, well, you've been through it, so that's why we show you firsthand, because you've gone through it, you experienced. They go, how many times did that happen? Go, now after we teach you, go, that's what you guys, they might go, did to me. Well, that's what I went through. It's not like we did it to you, but it clicks. They go, it works. So it's not just, we're not just making this stuff up. No, this is
we actually use it.
Yeah, we use it, and it grows our business, and so that's why then we can sit here and go, well, that so-called expert promoting that's incorrect. It's not an honest, objective advice to give somebody, because they're just trying to do it in line with what they're selling, right?
Yeah.
And there's many things we could bring up in that category where that's why it's an overall approach to look at what that person's trying to achieve and have they got the right strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also back to like real conversations with real people, and again, like back to the opportunity to have someone some type of introductory call, conversation, whatever. And again, we hear so many stories of people out there who are trying to sell over DM and all the rest of it. And again, hey, someone might be listening to this going, well, I've sold over DM many times, and happy days, go for it, Good. But once again, I always say, if it ain't broke, you might not need to fix it, right? So if you've got a system and it's working, that's great. But
you're not selling anything over DMs, and if you don't have those things I talked about, trust, value. If you're someone, they don't need to like you, but if they can like you, but if they don't trust you, I like that guy. I wouldn't trust him with my life. You know, he's funny, but there's something about him, like, or her. If you don't have that, you're not selling anything.
Yeah, that's right. So, but back to the person who goes, well, yeah, I want to have a system behind this, and I've thrown prices out there, I've done this, and it hasn't worked. I got the ghost, and well, here's a way to do it, right? Slow it down. You're not running a marathon. You're running a 100-meter sprint. This is a marathon, right? So it's step by step, and the more you can put these systems in place, and that's exactly what Booster Bookings is, right? It's another system in your business, and if you keep adding these systems every month, once every 2 months, whatever it is, you build this platform for yourself to have more success in the future. And so it's a thing that we see when we're sitting down strategizing with people, the long-term view to go, what is this business going to look like in 12 months' time? Because, again, doing all this stuff, hey, man, I've got to do this Booster Bookings thing, I've got to put this in place, content, the pillars, what do I do first, where do I start? Well, that's why we break it down and we go, all right, well, there'll be certain things that we park, right? There'll be certain things you put on ice right now because for the next 3 months for you, this one thing we'll be speaking about might not be that relevant, But if you're sitting there going, what I need to do is increase my cash flow and put more bums on seats, well, this could be a quicker way to do it.
Correct. Yeah, it's why finding someone who's reputable, finding someone who's got the experience is important, and then where you're getting your advice from and how you're taking your advice in is going to be critically important. Well, because we've seen some really poor and I'd say irresponsible advice.
Yep.
That gets thrown out, not just in this area, but in any area. Even it's about starting out or what you set for your prices, all that stuff. So again, it's not a quick fix. It's like you got to sit down with someone who's been there, done it, and not only done it themselves, but helped a lot of people. So it's proven and predictable.
Yeah.
Because just because it worked for you, it doesn't mean like Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
You're not going to train like Ronnie Coleman and get those results, right? You're broken and it's not going to work. So you wouldn't go and copy how Ronnie Coleman trains because only that worked for him, genetic freak, right? Go, it worked for him, great, but it worked for Ronnie Coleman, but you're not Ronnie Coleman, so you probably need to train like this. You know what I mean? You better rep range and different stuff. So that's the same thing. Just because you look at someone and go, oh, they're kicking ass, it may not work for you. So you got to know what your strategy is. We've been talking about.
Yeah, love it. All right, so I guess to wrap all this up and to summarize, I think the most important part is you need to figure out what is your strategy, exactly where you're heading, what does the business look like, how far away from your end goal or target, and what does that mean in terms of new online clients or sign-ups or members or whatever that might be. So once we get that part sorted, then we go, all right, well, if I'm going to have some sort of marketing strategy and does a social plan fall into the marketing ecosystem, assuming it does, then we go, all right, which platforms are going to be most important, which ones do I put some focus into? And then we get to figure out, all right, what are your key pillars and what are the things I need to consistently put out there? So when someone lands on there, they see the brochure, the website, they see that's what it is, all right? It's
very clear on who you're talking to, who is your ideal client or clients. So who are they?
Yeah, and so that's the next part. So if you can, anyone listening to this can go and do an analysis on their own one and go, okay, if I was a stranger to this business, I turned up, what am I going to see, and what decision am I going to make about this business, and what am I going to learn, and so forth. So all those things are critical. And then the next part is to go, all right, well, what's the frequency look like? Do I need to employ a strategy like Booster Bookings? Am I prepared to put some investment into this? And again, it doesn't have to be huge amounts of money.
$2-3 a day, not a lot.
But more importantly, what's the end outcome of doing that, right? So am I looking to start more conversations, and where do those conversations lead? Am I looking to funnel people into a more formal introductory call, a strategy session, whatever it might be, or am I trying to get people on my database? So once again, there's a whole flow and a process, and this forms part of that cog.
So it's it's the Stephen Covey, start with the end in mind, and work backwards, not the other way around. So not just throwing shit at the wall and hope it sticks. Like sit down and actually have a clear plan, and then take the appropriate steps.
Yeah,
I mean, we haven't even got into once you do that. Automated, even in Instagram, there's a lot of people don't know about it, but you can, once you got like, these messages are working, my sell by chat on my messaging sequence is getting the response, it's working from people who are really engaging and people who aren't so much, and you got to do the certain other messagings to get them to reply, and once you got that, then you can automate it. You know, so in Instagram, there's that thing where you can just put in the message, you know, 1, and it'll automatically put in there the copy that you've already, you know, designed. 2, 3, and the whole way through. So that can be that gets covered in Booster bookings as well. And then if you've got a system like ours, like if you're using something once, you know, you want to really take your automation and scalability to the next level, then, you know, as we know with MXP, all the people who engage in Instagram go straight into our CRM. So then they're already in the system, and then you're doing it through that, so it doesn't get lost and confusing. So that's when you can then really gets exciting, because then you can really start to automate, scale, and, you know, save you time, but you get a greater result.
Yeah. Yep, sweet. All right, well, if we wrap this up, the action tasks, those of you tuning in, definitely go and get on. We'll put the link into Spotify, YouTube, etc. So go and get the Booster booking, so you can go take a deeper dive into this. Steps it all out for you. That's completely free. Why do we give it away for free? Well, what we want to do is we want to share some of our knowledge, our information, and if you tune into that and you resonate with it, you like what it happens, go and put it into place, and you might want to work with us further because you go, wow, this is really helpful. Yeah. And of course, you heard us mention MXP, so we'll put the link in for that as well, so you can go and book yourself a demo and see the power of having a CRM. Yeah. Everyone in business is going to need to have a database. That's really your intellectual property, and that's where you house all your information. Yeah. And that's, you know, the best way for you to learn about it is go and watch the video, have the demo, and get a sense of if it's the right fit for you.
Yeah, right. CRM, but it's really about how to increase your sales, increase your lead generation, and automate all that. So, you know, again, at the end of the day, we're in business to make profit. So make sure nothing gets missed, everything gets streamlined, and that, again, you increase your sales, increase your lead generation, increase your profit.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it.
I love it, love it. Well, on that note, let's wrap up. So, mate, great work. And hey, if you tune into this, make sure you seriously go out and then put this stuff into play. You know, otherwise it's just a bunch of words, right?
Yeah. And if you know someone who needs to be getting onto this information, send it to them. Share our YouTube, our Spotify, whatever other platforms that we're on. Make sure we share the information so we can all rise up and be better.
Yeah. All right. That is Trainer HQ signing out, people.
All right.